Every glass bottle, every window, every jar, it all starts right here, in the sand. High-purity silica sand, the backbone of every piece of glass ever made. $150 tons per load, enough sand to make 50,000 glass bottles.
Load's almost full, ready to haul.
From the quarry floor to the crusher, the journey of glass begins. First stop, the primary crusher, where mountain becomes manageable. Raw sandstone enters the crusher, emerging as uniform grains ready for processing. Jaw against stone, reducing ancient rock to modern raw material. Crushed sand rides the belt, next stop, screening and sorting. Size matters in glass making. Every grain must meet the specification.
Pressure holding steady on the primary cyclone. Copy that, valve alignment looks good.
Water strips away the clay, leaving only pure silica, ready for glass. Pure silica, washed and graded, the essential foundation of glass. Mountains of sand, stockpiled and ready, waiting to become glass.
Control, silo gates open, commencing loadout on first car.
Copy that, proceed with fill. First car, fill that one.
Silos to rail cars. All clear, proceed.
4,000 tons of silica sand, one train, one destination, one purpose, glass. Across the countryside, every mile bringing sand closer to becoming glass. Arrival at the gateway, where sand enters the glass-making world.
Engineer, hopper cars approaching the silos. Hold steady. Signal is green. Proceed to final spot. Stop.
Precision placement, every hopper car positioned for the next step in glass making.
Aligned and ready.
The sand begins its final journey into the glass factory. Gates open, tons of glass sand descend into the factory's underground arteries. Underground and unseen, the arteries that feed a glass factory's heart. Vertical ascent, sand rises to the heights where glass production begins. Strategic storage, millions of pounds of sand, held in reserve for continuous glass melting.
Control to rail yard, silo levels at 85%. Proceed with glass sand delivery. Roger, conveyor running, all systems green for batch house.
Precision weighing, sand, soda ash, limestone combined in exact proportions for perfect glass. Sand meets soda and lime, the ancient recipe for glass, mixed with modern precision.
Gate open, materials flowing. Initial mix looks good. Closing port.
Mixed and measured, the batch advances toward the fire that will transform it into glass. A city of glassmaking, where sand, fire, and precision engineering converge.
ID, please.
Secure access. Every person entering a glass factory follows strict safety protocols. Heat, light, and molten glass demand specialized protection. Every shift begins with preparation.
Attention all personnel. Shift change in progress. Report to your stations. Batch composition is confirmed. 72% silica, 14% soda ash, 10% lime, 4% additives. Confirmed. Safety protocols are in place. Good. Let's move.
Step into the heat. This is where sand meets fire and becomes molten glass. Layer by layer, the glass batch feeds the eternal fire, a process that never stops. 1500 degrees Celsius, where silica sand surrenders to the flame. Liquid light, silica transformed, flowing toward its final shape. From furnace to forehearth, the glass cools to perfection, ready to be shaped. Precision feeding, every drop of glass measured for the perfect bottle or jar. A perfect gob of molten glass, each one a future bottle, cut with surgical precision. The IS machine, a mechanical ballet that shapes molten glass into bottles and jars. First breath, the parison takes shape, preparing for its final form. Final breath, the glass jar emerges, hot from the mold and ready for its first journey. Out of the mold and onto the line, the glass jar begins its path through the factory. Still glowing with the furnace's heat, these glass jars must cool slowly or they will shatter. The annealing layer, where glass releases its stress, emerging strong and ready for the world. Controlled descent from heat. Every degree matters in the making of strong glass. Cooled but not cold, the glass emerges clear, ready for its protective coating. A microscopic shield, protecting every glass jar from the rigors of the filling line.
Good jar. Next.
Checking the finish, because a glass jar is only as good as its seal.
Thickness is uniform. Pass. Confirmed. Adjusting the trend now.
Testing to destruction, so that every glass jar that ships is strong enough for your kitchen.
Check the bottom mark. Copy. Diverting now. This lane for squares. Gate set. Next phase ready. 200,000 glass jars and counting. Each one inspected, coated, and ready for the world. The blanket of batch. Sand, soda, and lime dissolving into liquid glass at 1500 degrees. Pattern looks good. Pressure holding steady. Refining the melt, every bubble removed ensures clarity and strength in the finished glass jar. Through the throat, only the purest, most refined glass advances to become jars and bottles. Temperature at throat, 1320 degrees Celsius. Flow is steady. Surface looks good. Confirmed. Ready for the forehearth.
Every degree calibrated, the perfect temperature for the perfect glass gob. The plunger's pulse, 180 times per minute, a new glass jar is born.
Cut complete, alignment good.
A clean cut, Microseconds matter in the birth of a glass jar. Guided by gravity, every gob finds its mold with precision. The blank mold closes. The glass jar's first impression is made. From blank to blow, the glass jar takes its final form in a dance of heat and motion. Born from sand and fire, a glass jar, ready for a lifetime of preserving food. First layer of protection, a microscopic bond that shields the glass from wear. Into the layer, 90 minutes of controlled cooling, the secret to unbreakable glass. Through the thermal curve, the strawberry jam jar sheds its fire-borne stress, emerging durable and ready. Emerging from the fire, clear, strong, and ready for its protective finish. A second skin, the apricot jam jar receives its final shield against the wear of filling lines and transport.
Coating applied successfully, pressure and flow are optimal, jars are ready for inspection.
Electronic eyes, every cherry pie filling jar scanned for imperfections invisible to the human glance.
Confirmed, sealing intact.
The seal of quality, every marmalade jar's finish inspected for the perfect closure.
Readings are all within spec, 2.1, 2.2.
That transfers mean a fruit cocktail jar that can handle the journey from factory to pantry. Tested to the breaking point, so every applesauce jar that ships is strong enough for your shelf.
Square jar, checking emboss. Gate set for rounds. Height gauge, spot check. Square jar cleared, routing.
Gathering for the final stage, nearly 200,000 plum jam jars, ready to be stacked for shipment. Layer by layer, the pallet rises, mixed fruit jars stacked for stability and efficiency. A pallet complete, thousands of berry medley jars wrapped and labeled for the warehouse.
Clear to lift. Path is clear, proceed.
Off the line and into storage, grape jelly jars begin their journey to the filling plant. Warehouse reserve, millions of glass jars, standing ready for the food that will fill them.
Attention team, aisle 3 staging complete.
Behind every glass jar of raspberry jam, a laboratory that guarantees strength, safety, and purity.
Let's check this batch for seal integrity. From boiling to cold in seconds, blueberry preserve jars engineered to handle thermal extremes. Perfect. No cracks? Test passed. The pattern is uniform. It's within specifications. I'll capture that for the database. Good. Approved and ready for the vision system.
120 frames per second, machine vision catching what human eyes might miss. A permanent identity, every mixed berry jam jar carries its complete manufacturing history in a tiny code. Robotic precision, peach slices jars placed perfectly, thousands of times per shift without fatigue. Driverless and precise, the AGV delivers fig preserve jars to their warehouse home without human guidance. Furnace temp is climbing. Tweak the oxygen mix.
Copy. Adjusting now. Watch for state.
Every degree, every cycle, every plum jam jar monitored in real time. Eyes inside the inferno, high-temperature cameras watch over the birth of every blackberry jelly jar.
Slight bearing wear in section 3. Scheduling inspection.
Listening to the machines, vibration sensors predict maintenance needs before the marmalade jar line ever stops. Nothing wasted. Broken fruit salad jars return to the furnace as cullet, closing the loop on glass production.
Adjusting cullet ratio to 30%. Okay, let's see the floor.
Sorting at speed, apple butter jars find their correct path without a single human touch.
Layer line, proceed to wrap.
The final touch, a robotic arm stacks the last layer of strawberry rhubarb jam jars, completing the palette. Every gram matters. The strawberry jam jar meets exact specifications for consistent filling. Measured by light, the peach preserve jar's dimensions are verified to thousandths of an inch.
No jars inspect.
The perfect opening, apricot halves jars measured to seal flawlessly with every cap.
Sealed for freshness. Cherry pie filling jars tested to hold vacuum through years on the shelf.
A flawless canvas pinway. The mixed berry jam jar's surface prepared for perfect label application.
Looks good.
Brandon batch etched in glass, every fig jam jar carries its identity permanently.
Clear.
Double checked for stress, the plum jam jar's strength confirmed by a second look. The right amount of slip, applesauce jars glide through filling lines without hesitation.
Nope.
Built to survive the journey, fruit cocktail jars tested against the impacts of the real world.
Good.
Human eyes, final approval. Raspberry preserve jars pass the ultimate quality check.
Wrapped with precision, blueberry jam jars secured for safe passage to the filling plant. Increasing top layer overlap for stability.
Palette verified. Proceed to staging.
Staged and ready, marmalade jars await their final journey from glass factory to food filler.
Sand analysis complete, purity and consistency verified. Proceeding to XRF for elemental composition. Chemical fingerprint confirmed. The glass for peach jam jars meets exact elemental specification. Viscosity verified. Apricot halves jar glass flows exactly as designed at every temperature. Investigating imperfections, every stone in a cherry pie filling jar traced to its source for elimination. Expansion measured, mixed berry jam jars engineered to handle heat, cold, and everything between. Chemically inert fig jam jars that preserve flavor without contamination. Clarity confirmed. Plum jam jars that showcase the rich color of the fruit within. Stress visualized, apple butter jars with uniform strength from base to rim. Daily furnace check. The molten heart of fruit cocktail jar production examined for perfection. Water quality checked. The cooling that shapes raspberry jam jars remains pure and effective.
Noted slight upward trend in finish ovality. Adjusting IS machine
Data drives decisions. Blueberry preserve jar quality controlled by statistical precision. This mold mark on the blackberry jar. Acceptable? Visually, yes, under 2 mil per spec. Pareto agrees. Hygiene check, let's go. Certified quality. Marmalade jars ship with a written guarantee of performance and safety. Stored and secure, strawberry jam jars rest in the warehouse, awaiting their call to duty.
Need the palette for the peach slices. Right here, rack A12, follow the signs.
Picked and tagged, apricot jam jars selected for their journey to the filling line.
Staging these cherry pie filling jars now. Check the diagram, arrange them by order. Paperwork for the load. Looks good, trailer is ready.
Into the trailer, mixed berry jam jars begin the road trip to their filling destination. Sealed and secured, fig preserve jars depart the factory, bound for pantries across the country. Out the gate, plum jam jars roll toward their future, filled with fruit and promise. The cycle continues. As one pallet of applesauce jars departs, another takes its place.
And this is how modern factories produce glass jars, from sand to shelf, start to finish.
Millions of tons of sand, billions of glass jars, and the journey never stops. From sand in the earth to jars on the shelf, the story of glass made real.